Behavior of road users and their responsibilities. The objective of this lecture is to understand the behavior of road users and their responsibilities. Before we start, it is important to understand who are road users. A road user may be anyone who's using the road. It can be pedestrian, children, a cyclist, a motorcyclist, people of determination, or other vehicles such as trucks, buses, tram, police, ambulance, firefighters. These are the modules we will discuss in this lecture. Training and testing process. Attitude in driving. Always give way. Watch out. Insurance. Consequences of traffic accident. Vehicle safety features. Constant learning. In this module, you will learn about attitude in driving. 1/3 of all fatal crashes occur due to the misinterpretation of drivers. The drivers fail to anticipate properly what other road users may do, and they get trapped in an accident. In this region, most of the people are from different parts of the world, with different cultures, customs, and imprinted behaviors. Sometimes they apply their imprinted behavior on the road, making it difficult to judge the future course of their action. So, to be a responsible driver, your utmost responsibility is to carry a positive attitude and ensure your safety and the safety of other road users around you. Now, let's see what is an attitude. Attitude is a complex mental state involving our belief, values, and our tendency to act in a certain way. Your attitude shows your personality, your thoughts, and your beliefs. It is in the way you conduct yourself in front of other people, not only while you're driving, but also in your daily routine. So, your attitude plays a very vital role while you're driving. Remember, driving with a positive attitude can avoid many accidents. Let's have a look at some examples of bad attitude in driving and their consequences. Example 1. The main reason behind jumping red light is to save the time. Common conception is that when motorists seize the green signal, they try to cross it in the same attempt. It has been observed that the red jumper crosses the traffic light with greater speed to avoid crash and fines. But it hampers their ability to judge the oncoming traffic, which often leads them to crashes. This kind of act puts themselves and others in very dangerous situations. This violation is usually caused by a bad attitude of the motorist. Example 2. Tailgating. Tailgating is driving too close to the front vehicle without maintaining a safe distance. Moreover, flashing the headlights to intimidate others may cause an accident. This is another example of a bad attitude. Example 3. Overspeeding. Another example of bad attitude while driving is overspeeding, which is also the cause of several accidents. Driving too fast under any circumstance is an unacceptable driving behavior. Weaving in and out of the lane. Weaving in and out of the lane means that the driver is not following the lane discipline and is constantly changing lanes between the vehicles. This action creates disturbance on the road, especially when they do that without indicators at high speed and in a dangerous manner. Such motorists want to pass other vehicles by filling the space which they've kept for driving safely. This kind of bad attitude forces other motorists to make sudden actions such as hard braking or swerving immediately. Remember, aggressive driving style is not only dangerous but also increases fuel consumption, adds to traffic congestion, and makes driving more stressful. Motorists must drive with positive attitude in busy traffic areas. They must always slow down and be mentally prepared to stop on unexpected hazards, such as pedestrians crossing the road, children standing nearby or running across, other vehicles reversing from parking or other unexpected hazards. While driving in a busy area, the law states you must not expose pedestrians to any danger whatsoever. You shall also stop whenever required to avoid danger and any road user. Article 10.9 UAE Federal Traffic Law No. 21, 1995. Therefore, always drive with kind, courteous, and positive attitude. way. In this module, you will learn about the road users to whom you must always give way. They are pedestrians, emergency vehicles, trams. You must always give way to pedestrians. According to a study based on rate per 100,000 population, accidents related to pedestrians are comparatively higher in the region than other countries. Pedestrians always have priority to cross the road, merely because a pedestrian is not protected on the road the way we are inside our vehicle. Vehicles have different safety features to protect us, but a pedestrian has none, whether they're walking in a protected area or not. Being a driver, it is your responsibility to be concerned about the safety of pedestrians. Slow down or stop when required to allow a pedestrian to cross the road in order to avoid any accident and to also avoid fines. When being a pedestrian yourself, you must cross only at the designated areas to avoid any accidents or fines as well. Pedestrian traffic signals. Important rule. Drivers must always give way to pedestrians who are crossing the road you are turning into. Article 36, Executive Bylaw, UAE Federal Traffic Law, Number 21, 1995. In the designated areas, most of the traffic signals are controlled by the pedestrians for their road crossing. They can control the pedestrian traffic signal with the help of a Pelican box. As a road user, a pedestrian must obey the traffic signals. And as a safe and responsible motorist, you must slow down and be more cautious if pedestrians do not obey the traffic signals. Pedestrians at pedestrian crossings. Important rule. You must slow down while approaching a pedestrian crossing indicated by road markings and traffic lights, or where a police officer is controlling movement of traffic. In the case that there are neither signals nor police officers, you must stop and give way to pedestrians. Article 35, Executive Bylaw, UAE Federal Traffic Law, Number 21, 1995. Usually you will find pedestrian crossings at the following locations: across the road, either a two-way street or a multi-lane road, at intersections, and at slip lanes. Let us see what is a slip lane. A slip lane is an area of the road for vehicles turning right. It is separated from other parts of the road by a traffic island. Slip lanes are usually found at intersections. Remember, pedestrians always have priority, even if they're walking on the pavement and make an intention to cross the road. If a vehicle collides with a pedestrian, it usually results in serious injury or fatality. As a road user, you must always give priority to emergency vehicles. Emergency vehicles are official vehicles, firefighters, ambulances, police vehicles, military vehicles when they proceed in convoys. You can easily spot them as they approach with loud sirens and flashing lights. It is your responsibility to give way to these vehicles, to pass smoothly, even if you're standing at a traffic light and your signal is green. You must stop and move aside to give priority for these vehicles to pass. You must always give way to trams. A tram is a public vehicle powered by electric and ground cables. Road and Transport Authority introduced trams to ensure the smooth transportation of people in Dubai. While you're driving near the tram, you must be cautious of the ongoing tram to avoid any collision. It may be difficult for a tram to stop suddenly. Though tram has a separate track on the road for movement, it intersects with other road users at junctions and pedestrian crossings. So it is essential that all road users, including vehicles and pedestrians, must give priority to the passing tram to avoid any danger. However, on these tracks, the emergency vehicles have the priority to pass. No road user should obstruct the movement of the tram in any way. Any of the following conducts by a road user can be considered as a violation and can attract a fine: stopping the vehicle on the tram track, parking the vehicle at undesignated spots, littering in front of the tram, fixing any kind of outdoor hoarding at the tram track, Pedestrians should cross the tram track only at the designated area. Walking around the tram track is also considered as a violation. Point to remember: in case of any collision with the tram, you must remain at the accident scene until the police and rescue team arrives. In this module, you will learn to whom or what you need to watch out while driving. You should watch out for children, vehicles of people of determination, school buses, buses and taxi lanes, motorcyclists and cyclists, animals. As a motorist, you must always be aware of children around you. Children are considered as a potential hazard. It is harder to see them because of their smaller size, and they often do unexpected things. They may not judge the speed and distance of the vehicle. See the objects on their side. Identify the direction of the speed. Motorists must be cautious about children while passing by residential areas, mosques, playgrounds, shops, shopping malls, parks, and school areas. Watch out for younger children especially, as they may cross the road without looking around. You must watch out for people of determination. These are vehicles specially designed for people of determination or people with special needs. As these vehicles are smaller in size, it is hard to see them. You may come across people of determination in residential areas, areas for worships, shopping malls, parks. Always watch out, and if their intention is to cross the road, stop and let them cross safely. You must watch out for school buses. The main aim of the UAE Roads and Transport Authority is to keep every road user safe. Every school bus in the UAE is yellow in color in order to warn the drivers that there are students nearby. School buses are mostly found at residential and school areas where they frequently stop to board and alight the students. Whenever a school bus stops, an articulated stop arm and hazard light turns on. Your responsibility is to stop, be patient, avoid using the horn, and allow the bus to pass first. Remember, school buses may stop for several minutes, especially if there are several students to board or alight. Be extra cautious when there are school buses traveling nearby. You must watch out for bus and taxi lanes. To improve the mobility of public transportation and to avoid traffic jams, the Road and Transport Authority has reserved lanes for RTA buses and taxis. These lanes can be easily identified as it is clearly mentioned on them, only bus and taxi lanes. Private vehicles are prohibited to drive in these lanes, and failing to follow this rule may attract a fine. You must watch out for motorcyclists and cyclists. As a motorist, you must be cautious about motorcyclists and cyclists around your vehicle because it is difficult to spot them, especially when they are coming from behind, or overtaking, turning, or filtering through traffic. It is also difficult to spot them at junctions and roundabouts. They are more vulnerable to accidents as they ride faster and are less protected being on two wheels. Moreover, motorcyclists and cyclists may suddenly need to avoid uneven road surfaces and obstacles, such as drain covers or oily and wet patches on the road. If they look over the shoulder, it means that they intend to pull out, turn, or change direction. You must always give them plenty of room, and be sure to check mirrors and blind spots carefully, as they might be present in your blind spots. Road and Transport Authority have also built dedicated cycling tracks in various areas of the city to promote the physical sport and encourage people to use cycle to travel for short distances. Drivers need to watch out to avoid close contact with them. Vehicle collision with wildlife also accounts for some of the incidents reported in the UAE causing injuries, deaths, and property damage. So you need to watch out for animals while driving, as they are unpredictable. While driving outside the city limits, you may find animals like camels. So it is your responsibility as a driver to be very careful, reduce your speed, Never use your horn around the animals. It may frighten them and could cause them to run, which may lead to a crash. While driving at night, be careful and use your headlights smartly so that you do not attract animals. In urban and suburban areas, the drivers need to pay more attention as an animal may suddenly approach the road, resulting in crashes and property damages. Vehicle insurance. As per law, an insurance policy is mandatory for all vehicles. It has to be done with the Registration Department of Road and Transport Authority. Basically, there are two kinds of insurance policies: comprehensive insurance, also known as full insurance, TPL, which means third-party liability. An insurance policy can involve up to 3 parties. The first party is the insurance company. The second party is the insurer, who in turn is the owner of the vehicle. And the third party is the other vehicle involved in case of an accident. In the comprehensive or full insurance policy, the insurance company covers the cost of the damage for both the second and third party. In TPL or third-party liability insurance, the insurance company will cover the cost of damage for the third party only. In this case, the second party, or the owner, will be responsible for the damage of his own vehicle. Before taking an insurance policy, always read the terms and conditions properly, as various insurance companies have different coverage policies. List of conditions in which the insurance company will not cover the claim. Even if your vehicle is insured, there are several cases in which the insurance company will not cover your claim. Few of these conditions are: if the driver is under the influence of alcohol or a sedative medicine, if driving a vehicle belonging to another category for which he does not have a license. For example, if your driving license permits you to drive only light motor vehicles, you cannot claim an insurance for any mishap occurring while riding a bike. If driving a vehicle in another country, which is not covered in the policy. If the driver is driving without wearing spectacles, in the case where it is mentioned as mandatory in the license. Consequences of not complying with insurance policies. Therefore, in such conditions, the insurance company will not cover the claim as motorists are not complying with their terms and conditions. In this case, all the liabilities, including vehicle damage, property damage, injury or fatality, will be paid by the motorists. In the UAE, driving under the influence of alcohol is punishable by law. The driver violate the rule will be imposed with 24 black points along with a fine decided by a court. Consequences of driving an uninsured vehicle. An active car insurance policy is legally required in order to register and drive your vehicle. If you're caught driving without proof of insurance, you could face stiff penalties. Potential consequences of driving without an insurance may include a costly ticket, a lack of financial protection in the event of an accident, and even denial of coverage if you're involved in an accident and not at fault. Being involved in a fatal accident without insurance is a very serious situation. If you get involved in a fatal accident where someone is killed and your vehicle is not insured, you will be fully liable to pay the blood money to the victims of the accident. Other than that, You may also face the costly fines and other punishment will be imposed by the authorities. In this module, you will learn about vehicle safety features which protect drivers and passengers in the case of an accident. Let's first have a look at the road accident statistics. Road crash statistics. According to the World Health Organization report on world road safety, approximately 1.24 million people die annually, which is approximately 3,400 people per day. Another 20 to 50 million sustain non-fatal injury. These injuries and deaths have an immeasurable impact upon the affected families and communities. There are many ways to cut down these figures. One prominent way to reduce the number of fatalities and injuries is by using the vehicle safety features. Vehicles are equipped with various safety features which play an important role to keep all the occupants safe during crashes. These include seatbelt, child restraint system as add-on, airbag, head restraint, crumple zone. More safety features are also available depending on the type and model of the vehicle. Let's take a brief look at the important safety features. The modern seatbelt was invented by a Swedish engineer named Nils Bohlin in 1959. This invention changed the world by preventing injuries during a car crash. Seatbelt is the primary safety feature in any vehicle. Therefore, it is important for all the occupants of the vehicle, both in the front and rear seats, to wear it. Let's take a look at some of the advantages of a seatbelt. When properly worn, the seatbelt has many advantages. Seatbelt reduces the chances of traffic-related fatalities, prevents ejection of occupants from the vehicle, holds the occupants securely in place on seat, improves control. Seatbelts help to control the vehicle during a crash. Reduces injuries. Seatbelt spreads the force of impact on the large part over large part of body, reducing severity of injury. Valuable. Seatbelt is valuable, as it reduces the medical expenses and saves time. Now let's take a look at some of the life-threatening dangers of not using a seatbelt. The dangers of not using the seatbelt are severe. During a crash, the vehicle may come to a sudden stop as a result of the collision, but the occupants inside the vehicle will continue to move forward within the cabin at the speed of the vehicle. During high speeds, the impact that the occupants might face within the vehicle can be severe or even fatal. Serious injuries often occur when occupants are thrown onto each other with great force, or strike against the hard parts in the interior of the vehicle, such as steering wheel, windscreen, gear stick, or dashboard. The driver, along with the passengers, can even be thrown out if the vehicle is at a very high speed. Serious injuries or deaths often result when people are thrown out. According to the laws of physics, when a person weighing 75 kilograms is thrown off from the seat during a crash, while traveling at a speed of 120 kilometers per hour, the force of impact he suffers during the crash will be equal to 15 tons. So always buckle up and make sure that the seatbelt is used appropriately so that it provides the maximum protection. Let's see the design of a seatbelt. Seatbelt is designed to be worn on the bony structure of the body and should be worn across the front and the pelvis, chest and shoulder so that it can provide the maximum protection. Also make sure it is firmly adjusted. It must not be twisted. It must only restrain one occupant. Remember, seatbelt is important for everyone during every journey, be it short trip or a long one. Even pregnant women should use the seatbelt to keep herself and her unborn baby safe. An add-on safety feature, child restraint system, can be used if children are traveling with you. A driver is not only responsible for his own safety but also for the safety of the occupants of his vehicle. If there are children in the vehicle, the best protection for them is the child restraint system, also known as child seats. Child seats can reduce the risk of injury and fatalities to a great extent during vehicle crashes. These especially designed seats absorb the impact of the crash and keep the child secure and safe. In the UAE, most of the children do not travel in the child seats. Around 50% children killed in road traffic accidents were unrestrained passengers. Many of these deaths could have been prevented if they were traveling in an appropriately fitted child seat. Being a responsible parent, you should use child seats for your children even when traveling for a short distance. Make sure to use the appropriate child seat depending on the age and size of the child. There are 4 stages of child seats. They are: Stage 1, baby seat; Stage 2, child seat; Stage 3, booster seat; Stage 4, booster cushion. Stage 1, baby seat. Baby seat is also known as an infant seat. This seat is rear-facing and is used for newborn babies till they are 12 months old, or weighing up to 13 kilograms, or having a height up to 65 centimeters. It has an integral harness. This seat is positioned rear-facing, that is, opposite to the direction of the travel, because babies need extra support while traveling in a vehicle. Babies have a large and heavy head compared to their body. Their necks are not strong enough to withstand the force of a crash. A rear-facing seat with a secure harness will support the baby's neck and helps to protect the baby in an abrupt stop or crash as it distributes the crash force along the entire back, neck, and head, putting less stress on any single part of the body. It is time to move the baby to a forward-facing child seat when the top of their head sticks up above the top of the baby seat. Stage 2, child seat. Child seat is also known as a convertible seat. This seat is forward-facing and is used for children from 1 to 4 years, weighing between 9 kilograms to 18 kilograms and height from 65 to 95 centimeters. Child seats have internal harness, which includes the crotch straps that prevent the child from sliding out in case of a sudden stop or crash. This seat must be positioned forward, facing the direction of travel. It will be time to move the child to a booster seat when the top of their head stays above the upper portion of the child seat. Stage 3, booster seat. This seat can be used for children from the age of 4 to 6 years, weighing between 15 kilograms to 25 kilograms and height from 95 to 125 centimeters. Booster seats are normal seats designed to allow the child to use the adult seat belt. The purpose of this seat is to position a child such that the seat belt is correctly placed on the lap and the shoulder. Move the child to a booster cushion when the height range exceeds the booster seat's limit. Booster cushions are used for children aged between 6 and 11 years, weighing between 22 to 36 kilograms, and with a height ranging from 125 to 140 centimeters. Booster cushions are used when the child outgrows to use the booster seat. Booster cushions are designed to boost the height of the child to correctly use the adult seat belt. It is always recommended to fix the child restraint system in the middle of the rear seat, as it is the safest position if it fits well. You should check the owner's manual of your vehicle, as well as the car seat user's guide, for secure installation. If the child is taller than 140 centimeters, they may use the adult seat belt. Use the adjustable anchorage point to ensure that the diagonal part of the belt is not too close to the neck. The shoulder belt should fit comfortably across the middle of the shoulder and the chest. The lap section of the belt should stretch below the hips and not across the abdomen to avoid injuring internal organs in the case of a crash. Young children are naturally curious about their surroundings. They always try to explore. They may interfere with the internal controls without understanding the consequences. Therefore, to keep children safe, always use child locks in the rear doors when they are in the vehicle. Another safety feature found in vehicles is the airbag. Airbag is a safety device mainly for adults. They are fitted inside the vehicles and inflate rapidly in case of a collision to provide cushion to the passenger. It is also known as Supplemental Restraint System or SRS airbag. Airbags are fully effective only when they are used along with seat belts. During a collision, the sensors detect the impact and trigger the inflation of the airbag. Airbags inflate faster than the blink of an eye to provide soft landing to the body. It softens the impact the passengers face and protects them from hitting against the steering wheel, windscreen, and other parts of the vehicle. The airbags deploy very swiftly, so for the best protection, always sit properly on the seat, use the seat belt, keep a minimum distance of 25 centimeters as safe space from the breastbone to the steering wheel. Remember, although the airbags are intended to provide protection, they can be dangerous for children, so keep the children or the child seats away from the airbag. Another safety feature of vehicles is the head restraint. One of the most common reported types of injuries from a vehicle accident is neck injury, which can be prevented if drivers and passengers are using head restraint appropriately while driving. A head restraint is designed to limit the movement of head and provide support in an accident. A properly adjusted head restraint will help to protect against whiplash and save from a long-term injury. Always ensure your head restraint is adjusted properly as either a driver or a passenger. In order to position the head restraint correctly, make sure the center of the head restraint is in level with the top of the ear or the eye level. The distance between the head and head restraint should be less than 4 inches or 10 centimeters. Another built-in safety feature is the crumple zone. Manufacturers have provided a hidden built-in safety feature known as the crumple zone in most of the vehicles. It protects the occupants during frontal, rear, and side crashes by absorbing the crash energy. This means that the body of the vehicle crumples up and reduces most of the impact to protect the driver and the passengers. There are many other safety features in vehicles that help to protect its occupants. It is worth to know about them and their functions before you drive on the road. In this module, you'll learn about the consequences of traffic accidents. One accident occurs in the UAE every 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It could be either a major or minor crash. Research has proven that 96% of traffic accidents take place due to human errors. It means that these 96% of accidents are preventable. Motorists should try to avoid accidents by obeying traffic rules, minimizing distraction, and showing courtesy, kindness, and a positive attitude while driving. The consequences of traffic accidents are always bad, irrespective of whether it's a major accident or a minor one. It is very important to understand the consequences of traffic accidents, as there may be fatalities, serious injuries, vehicle damage, property damage, problems occurring from vehicle insurance, vehicle reparation, traffic fines. Road traffic accidents are a serious problem worldwide. The consequences of road traffic accidents primarily affect the direct participants of road traffic accidents and their families. The direct participants of road traffic accidents particularly suffer health consequences. Drivers and passengers can suffer from minor cuts and bruises to broken limbs, whiplash, back and spinal injuries, paralysis, and even death. Since road traffic accidents lead to many fatal disabled injuries, the consequences of these accidents are fundamentally reflected in the social sphere. This concerns job losses and the related financial hardships, loss of amenity, and a fatal impact on the functioning of the whole family. We should not forget that the psychological impact of the consequences of road traffic accidents do not only affect the direct participants, but also their families. The costs associated with road traffic accidents are shouldered by the whole society. To avoid these consequences and to be safe on the road, you must drive with utmost care and responsibility. Being a safe and responsible driver, always follow the rules and regulations and use the vehicle safety features appropriately.
So do I just confess that I text and drive?
If I get a text, I'll look at my phone.
It's definitely texting.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Snapchat. I do Snapchat and drive sometimes.
Is that like making Snapchats or watching them?
Making them.
A, texting is like my main form of communication.
Boredom, honestly.
And B, well, no, I guess no, it's really just A.
I've only never done it at stoplights. I've always been really good about it.
The passenger has a pretty important role driving now, where they're like, oh, red light, red light.
If someone that you like texts you, you can't just let it sit there without just knowing what they said.
Because what if something exciting's happening or something happened?
Like every time I do it, I think about it, I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I just keep doing it.
So I'd like to, want to introduce you to a friend of ours.
My name is JC.
Hi, Alexis.
Hi, Dash.
Justin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I just really quickly want to have a chat, tell you what happened to me. When I was 21 years old, driving home from my college graduation ceremony, driver on his phone was so distracted, he turned left into the intersection at a red light. Another car, an 18-wheeler, swerved to miss him and hit my family's car. And the resulting collision actually killed both of my parents. I spent 2 months in the hospital fighting for my own life, and then 2 more months in a rehab hospital, learning how to walk again, learning how to speak again, learning how to dress myself and how to feed myself. I live with a partially paralyzed body. I didn't have my daddy to walk me down the aisle when I got married.
Having sort of met JC, because you look at JC and sort of give those same reasons.
Usually I use my phone to change a song on. I try to use it as little as possible, but
I'm not gonna look at my phone ever again.
Honestly, if I have been sitting at a red light, I'll like glance down to see if my mom's texting me, but the people's lives that are impacted from something that is so stupid.
I can assure you on my drive home right now, I'm not going to use my phone and drive, and I'm not going to do it when I go to work tomorrow and the next day after that until, it becomes a habit, and that just doesn't happen at all.
I know this is hard. I'm sorry. It's hard for me too, but this is real. You have the power to really actually make a difference and do something about it.
Thank you.
Constant learning. In this module, you'll learn about the skills that are required to be a safe driver. As we all know, the learning process never ends. Even after obtaining your driving license, keep practicing to gain more experience. It will take time to develop good driving skills and to contribute your part for making the road a safe environment for all. The new drivers are less able to predict possible hazards. There are 5 different skills that are required to become a safe driver. They are car controls, visual scanning, thinking and responding, identifying and weighing up risk, making decision. Car controls. It is very important to know where the car controls are and how to use them properly. These controls are accelerator, brake, clutch, steering wheel, gear, and other controls, like the wipers operating switch, which is on the right side of the steering wheel. Automatic vehicles lack the clutch, as it shifts gears automatically. Visual scanning. It is important to know how to scan the road all around you and where to focus on the road while driving. Scanning is a way to view the total traffic scene as you drive. It prevents tunnel vision, which can isolate you from what is going on in the distance as well as around your vehicle. In order to avoid a last-minute maneuver and spot possible traffic hazards, you should always look down the road ahead of your vehicle. When you're looking far enough ahead in your travel path, you will be able to spot hazards early and will be well prepared to react to them. Remember, scanning helps drivers remain alert and be prepared for hazards or traffic conflicts ahead. To look behind, use your rear view mirrors and keep scanning all directions to prepare yourself for potential hazards. Thinking and responding. This skill will help you observe and quickly react to possible hazards. This skill also helps you to maintain a safer distance from vehicles around you. New drivers are more likely to crash because they often drive too close to the vehicle in the front. Therefore, always maintain a safe following distance while driving. Identifying and weighing up a risk. As a driver, you need to pay more attention to be able to judge the hazards and take necessary precautions. With the help of this skill, you will be able to identify the risk quickly according to the situation. Making decision. You can become a safer driver if you develop the decision-making ability well in advance on the road, such as when to slow down, to what speed, when to reduce the speed, what speed to drive in various roads or weather conditions, when to change lanes, and how to overtake safely. Drive safely, and remember that the learning process never ends. And never forget that excellence is not a skill, but an attitude.